a young man who used to do kiruv in Eretz Israel in a Russian community. He helped a lot of Russians come back to their roots. We know that Russians had the hardest time. The hardest time of all nationalities being lost from the faith. And this person really helped a lot of Russian Jews. He had a son, and his son was in an Israeli yeshiva in Israel. And there was an Arab worker in this yeshiva, and his son always noticed that this Arab worker is kind of sometimes ignored by everybody. People throw things on the floor as if like, who cares if this guy has to pick him up? It's his job. His son used to go around, and sometimes not even in front of him. He used to pick up some stuff that were dropped on the floor and clean up the yeshiva so that the guy doesn't have to work so hard. Sometimes he would see him picking up heavy stuff. He would run and go help him pick up what needs to be picked up. And then until one time, the Arab turns to him and he says, Jews are good people. I really believe Jews are good people. Thank you so much. That was like a pride for him, that he's helped a person that he looks neglected by others sometimes. Years pass, and one day, his father, the rabbi, was traveling from one city to another, and unfortunately there was like a terror attack on one of the streets, and all the streets were closed. And he decides to take a detour, making a mistake, and he finds himself in one of the most dangerous Arab villages in Israel. And he didn't know what to do. This is recent. This happened in year 2000. He makes all the wrong turns, and he was shivering in his car. He didn't know what to do. And what is he going to do? Roll down the window to ask for directions? So finally, at one of the corners, he finds an older man standing. He looks like a nice man. He rolls down his window and he says, "Excuse me, can you tell me the way back to the highway from here?" Gives him one look and he says, "What are you doing here? You're going to get killed. This is the worst neighborhood for a Jew looking like you to be here. Why are you here?" He says, "I don't know. I got lost." He says, "First of all, take your kippah off. And you see, I see a sefer, I see a book on your dashboard. Put the book right now underneath the seats. And I'll tell you how to get out of here." He says, "You go straight down, you make a right, and you make another right, and then you make a left, and that's the highway. And at the end of the street, there's a gang that's standing there. That's the gang that is waiting for any cars to come in, and they'll stone you. They'll literally kill you. Just speed off ahead. Don't stop for anything." And his last words to him were, "I believe the Jews are good people. You're good people." And he says thank you to him, and he speeds off, and he finds his way out of the Arab village, to later on to find out that Arab that saved his life that night was none other than the custodian of his son's yeshiva. No wonder. His own son saved his life by making a Kiddush Hashem, sanctifying God's name. Not because he wanted to look good, not because he wanted it to be on camera. He wasn't taking selfies while he was doing it. He was doing it because that's what a Jew should do. A Yid, a Jew, has to always be thinking, how can I help the other person, no matter where that other person comes from? And when you sanctify God's name, you're only adding zechuyot for yourself, for your entire family. That's it. You're only prolonging your own life. You're only taking away yisurim from your life and the life of others. You're only bringing purity, and you're only bringing health and success for yourself and the ones around you. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.